I mean, it's a great honor for our team, for our program, for our university to be invited to go play in the Capital One Orange Bowl. I think that is very, very special. We're going to party like it's 1941 down there, and bowl game is such a special reward for such a special season. To go to this, one of the premier bowl games in all of college football, history of college football. It is very, very special for our fans. I know we're happy that we can provide this opportunity, this experience for them, the opportunity for them and to travel. I know we'll have a huge crowd there, unbelievable support for our program as they've done all year for us, of supporting this team, cheering this team on, and to wrap it up, every team has a one-year shelf life. This team was born, last January. And the last experience this team will have will be on New Year's Eve night. And that's going to be a special deal to play in such a premier bowl game, to play against a great opponent in Georgia Tech, who's coming off an excellent season, obviously winning their division, and playing a tight game. In their conference championship game last night. Obviously, they're well-deserved and going to be a very difficult opponent for us. But I can tell you, our guys are going to be really happy. I mean, this is a special experience. I've had the opportunity to coach in the Orange Bowl. This will be my third trip to the Orange Bowl as a coach. And the people down there in Miami, the Capital One Orange Bowl, the community of what they do and how they run the bowl is first class. And it will be an unbelievable experience for all of our guys, and so I know as Mississippi invades Miami for New Year's, it's going to be a pretty neat deal and a special time for all of us. And I'm very fortunate. I think our program certainly is headed in the right direction. I hope this is more than norm than the every 70-year deal for us as we continue to move forward. We have unbelievable. We have a great administration here, great leadership within our administration, unbelievable facilities, and I think we've all worked for this type of goal. When we came here to build a team that compete for championships, I think we had a season where we were able to compete. We didn't get to the point we wanted to, in winning the SEC West. But the opportunity now to go play in one of the premier bowl games in all of the country is pretty special, and it's something that we want to continue to build on in the future as we continue to build this program to be, if not the one of the best programs in the United States.
Questions, and we'll get a mic to you.
Coach, you've already set out the bowl practice schedule, and will everybody be available health-wise as far as you know?
Yeah, I mean, our bowl schedule is going to be very similar. We're going to be very protective of a lot of guys early on. We'll start next, we practiced yesterday. We'll start next Friday, and then we'll go to the following Saturday. So I think Saturday's the 20th, so that means, what is that then? 13th? 14th? No, 11th?
Friday's the 12th.
Friday's the 12th. There you go. Yeah, I was told there would be no math. Friday the 12th we'll start practice, go up to the 20th, and we'll treat it as we did. The first 5 practices will be kind of like a spring ball where we'll protect a lot of guys. Then, and we'll open all those, the first 5 up to the public, everybody, and then, once we hit that our Monday practice, which is on Tuesday, no, Wednesday. Wednesday's a Monday.
Yeah,
here, and then we'll get into that. So Wednesday's a Monday, Thursday's a Tuesday. We'll get into that once we get down to the bowl side. It'll change again for us. But those first 5 practices will open to everybody if they want to come watch the team. Watch a lot of young guys, and as we continue to build the program for the future. Then we'll get into a game week practice where, it'll be in all of our game planning, and on the afternoon of the 20th, everyone will head home. And then the plan is to arrive down in Miami on the 26th for our guys and have the week of preparation before the game there. And everybody, I should be, Kendrick Market, I think I said that, but he's out with the torn Achilles. I don't want to mess y'all up. You guys can ask me about that right now. So if there's somebody you're concerned about, ask me. But he won't be available for the game, but everybody else should.
Dan, the Heisman finalists are going to be announced pretty soon, and
Mm-hmm.
what do you think now that you've had a week or so to kind of digest what Dak's done? Do you think he's deserving of at least being a finalist, and what's he meant to this program?
I think, when you look at what a guy's done for his team, and the value to the team, obviously, he certainly is deserving of it that way. Falling just short on both ends of being a 3,000 yard passer, 1,000 yard rusher. He'll have the opportunity in the bowl game with just a decent bowl game actually to kind of eclipse both of those marks, which is very, very special. Doesn't happen very often to be a 3,000 yard passer with a 1,000 yard rusher. So I think he's put us in a position. It's hard to say. That's an individual award. I know we're so focused on team. I know it'd be an unbelievable honor for him, even to be considered a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, and we'll find that out. I know he's. I think it's a great honor for him and our program for what he's done. He's a finalist for the Maxwell, the Davey O'Brien, and the Manning awards. I think that just speaks volumes to the type of year and what he's been able to do. And hopefully tomorrow night we find out he'll be a Heisman for our finalist for the Heisman Trophy as well.
This is your third trip to the Orange Bowl. Mississippi State's third as well.
Yeah.
Other than winning, what do you remember about those trips?
1-1. So I've coached. It was kind of interesting in my trips. I lost a game as a grad assistant at Syracuse. Won a game as the head coach at Mississippi State / offensive coordinator of Florida at the time. I do. What I remember about the trip? I've never been more exhausted in my life than being an offensive coordinator for a national championship game, and at the same time being a head coach and taking over a program. I got on. I think the last time I was there, called the game, practiced, ran down on the field, grabbed the trophy, and my wife took a quick picture with me with the crystal ball, handed it to somebody else, ran, got out of the stadium, packed up. Scott, you didn't get on the plane with us. Greg was on the plane with us. I was trying to think who else. But got back to the hotel. You're so wired up, just won a national championship, fell asleep at said goodbye to my family, who was about to go enjoy a really nice celebration party. Went right upstairs, packed up, went to bed, got on the plane, had my first team meeting, and left early the next morning and had my first team meeting here. So it was extremely exhaustive, but it was a great win. And but I do know this, that the hospitality that everybody shows, the facilities they have, how they treat the players, the experience for the program, and everybody involved in it is nothing but first class, if not the best bowl game in the United States.
Did you have a chance to watch the Georgia Tech game yesterday?
We had a recruiting weekend going on, so I kind of was catching parts of it here and there. My son told me when I got home from the recruiting dinner, actually no, it was this morning. He said, what was the final score? Because he fell asleep before the end, thankfully, with the babysitter. And I told him the final score, and he said, boy, we got to do a better job than Florida State tackling the fullback. They didn't tackle the fullback real well. And so I know that aspect of it, and we're going to make sure we take care of that, because he made that observation watching the game last night. Not bad for 5 right there. He's got his evaluation. He'll break it all down for us.
How were you guys Saturday in practice? What was that move kind of like?
I'll tell you what, it was a great energy going out there on the field. Guys pretty fired up, excited to get back out there. I think, I think it'll be even bigger the next time we hit the field. Because if you asked our guys, hey, where would you like to go? And if they had to, if we got to vote as a team where we'd like to go, they certainly would have picked the Orange Bowl. Getting that opportunity for all these guys, going to the Capital One Orange Bowl, and all these guys from Mississippi going to experience that, going to Miami in a whole nother world for them apart from where they grew up is going to be pretty unique and special. So I think they'll be even more fired up next time we hit the practice field. But I love the attitude. I thought everybody had a great attitude. We had a solid practice, and as we explained, that practice, our next practice is the first. Approximately 40 practices we have till game week against Southern Miss next year, and so that's the focus of the 5 practices, and then there's a big transition. It shifts into getting ready for this bowl game, but there's the next 5 are a focus on building the program for the future.
And also faced Georgia Tech before. We talked about defending the fullback. Talk about the challenges that triple option offense.
Well, I remember the last time we faced them, we ran for more yards than they did, and they passed for more yards than we did. So it was a pretty interesting game right there. They had a guy named Demarius Thomas, I think, had 200-some yard receiving night. So it was kind of a unique deal. But, you know, it's obviously a very unique challenge. I think one of the big challenges for us in getting ready to play the triple option is simulating that in practice. You know, I mean, you look at, you're talking about that right now, I mean, in all of football out there, you know, with Paul Johnson, the master of the triple option right now, you know, so their guys are going to run it at such a high level. It's coached at such a high level, and by a coach that knows every adjustment he wants to make and how the offense works. You know, we got to do a good job of simulating that to the best of our ability in practice to get our guys prepared for what we're going to face at the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Having those 4 straight bowl years, those extra practices, how much has it helped build this program to what it is today, just having that extra time?
I think it's huge because, you know, as we said, we use a little part of it for the future, and guys get a little feel for the future. You know, there's guys that were kind of in the red shirt mode this year, you know, or backup mode where they're not involved. And, you know, this is kind of a reminder that, hey, when I pull out the seniors and we call up first or second team offense and defense and special teams, those guys are now in that rotation. And so it's kind of that wake-up call that for them as before we get into this offseason that, hey, you know, I mean, I might be a guy that once we get into the actual game preparation, I might be back on the scout team. But right now I'm a rotator. And that means I'm a snap away. Either I'm looking at being a starter next year, or I'm a snap away from being a starter next year. And I think it's a huge wake-up call for those guys of the sense of urgency they need to have in preparation for their future.
When you were recruiting this last week, I guess, how much did you have to reiterate or remind recruits that you will be back next year or you wouldn't be back next year? How much did that question or topic come up?
You know what? I'll be honest with you, because a lot of our guys, they've had that discussion with me before. I don't think it came up once during my whole recruiting trip. I think because all of the guys that, you know, that we've been recruiting, that we've gone out here, they know what we've built and what we've had to do, and they know the future that we have and how happy we are here at Mississippi State. So, to be honest with you, it never even came up once.
That's it. Perfect.